Superman made the world believe a man could fly, defining the childhoods of an entire generation with hope and wonder. But behind the iconic cape lies the most chilling legend in Hollywood history, the Superman curse. Far from being invincible, the cast was hunted by a darkness that brought financial ruin, devastating accidents, and agonizing premature deaths. Join me as we uncover the tragic fates of the fallen stars who paid a terrible price for their glory. Christopher Reeve, born on September 25, 1952, portrayed Superman, a Clark Kent, in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At just 24 years old, Reeve was plucked from obscurity to become the most recognizable face on the planet, embodying the Man of Steel with a chiseled perfection that defined the role forever. However, the financial reality behind his cape was a shocking insult. For the first film, while Marlon Brando commanded a staggering $3.7 million plus 11.75% of the gross for less than 20 minutes of screen time, Reeve, the star of the film, was paid a paltry $250,000. Even by 1980s standards, this was a pittance, creating a humiliating disparity where the hero earned pennies while the cameo stars minted millions. He eventually negotiated better rates for sequels, but the Superman curse had already marked him. The world shattered on May 27, 1995, when a horse-riding accident paralyzed him from the neck down, transforming the strongest man on Earth into a prisoner of his own body. He spent 9 agonizing years trapped in a wheelchair, requiring a ventilator to breathe, with his vast earnings drained by astronomical medical bills that nearly bankrupted his family. He fought to find a cure, but the hero who saved the world could not save himself from the fragility of human bone. Christopher Reeve passed away on October 10, 2004 from cardiac arrest caused by a systemic infection at the age of 52, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $3 million, a modest sum after years of medical costs. Christopher was the hero broken by fate, but his on-screen soulmate faced a different kind of fracture, one that happened inside her own mind. Margot Kidder, born on October 17, 1948, portrayed Lois Lane in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. Joining the franchise at age 32, Kidder brought a manic, raspy-voiced energy to Lois Lane that captivated audiences, yet she was fighting a losing battle against a male-dominated industry. Her salary for the Superman saga was notoriously low. For Superman 2, she earned approximately $500,000, a fraction of what her male co-stars received, and she publicly fought the producers over this injustice, leading to her role being severely cut in the third film. But her true enemy was not the studio, it was her own biology. Kidder suffered from severe undiagnosed bipolar disorder that culminated in a harrowing, highly publicized breakdown in 1996. The world watched in horror as the famous Lois Lane was found cowering in a backyard in Los Angeles, homeless, delusional, and missing her front teeth, claiming she was being stalked. She had gone from the red carpet to the streets, stripping away the glamour of Hollywood, to reveal a terrified woman losing her grip on reality. A debilitating car accident in 1990 left her bankrupt and in constant physical pain, leading to an addiction to painkillers that haunted her final years. She died alone, a tragic figure who had flown with Superman but crashed down to a lonely Earth. Margot Kidder passed away on May 13th of 2018 from suicide by overdose at the age of 69, leaving behind a net worth of roughly $300,000. Margot struggled to keep her life together, but she was guided on screen by a man who knew the darkness of fame better than anyone, having lost his own childhood to it. Jackie Cooper, born on September 15, 1922, portrayed Perry White in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. By the time he shouted "Great Caesar's Ghost" at the age of 58, Cooper was Hollywood royalty, the youngest actor ever nominated for an Oscar at age 9. Yet his role in Superman was a financial necessity, not a passion project. Despite his legendary status, Cooper's salary for the franchise was a standard working actor's fee, estimated between $75,000 to $100,000 per film, a respectful but underwhelming amount for a man who had practically built the industry. His life was a testament to the cruelty of the child star curse. He was exploited by his parents, losing the vast fortune he made as a boy, and spent his entire adult life clawing his way back to solvency. He famously had to reinvent himself as a TV director for MASH just to pay the bills when acting roles dried up. Behind the gruff, lovable exterior of the Daily Planet's editor lay a man who carried the deep scars of a stolen youth and a lifetime of financial anxiety. He saw the industry chew up young talent and spit them out a cycle he barely survived himself. He spent his final years in the quiet shadows, far removed from the spotlight that had burned him so early in life. Jackie Cooper passed away on May 3, 2011 from natural causes at the age of 88, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $6 million. Jackie played the demanding boss, but he relied on a bumbling henchman who was secretly one of the most brilliant actors of his generation. Ned Beatty, born on July 6, 1937, portrayed Otis in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. He took on the role of Lex Luthor's incompetent sidekick at age 43, providing the film's comic relief. However, Beatty was a serious Oscar-nominated powerhouse who often felt trapped by his own versatility. His paycheck for Superman was that of a reliable character actor, likely in the range of $150 to $1,000, while he watched the leads take home millions. While Otis made audiences laugh, Beatty harbored a deep, lingering pain from his breakout role in Deliverance 1972. The brutal, humiliating scene he filmed for that movie haunted him for decades. Strangers would scream, "Squeal like a pig," at him on the street, reducing a man of immense talent to a cruel punchline. He worked tirelessly, appearing in over 160 films, often taking any role just to keep the lights on, driven by a blue-collar work ethic that the industry happily exploited. He was the king of the supporting cast, forever in the background, forever underpaid compared to the stars he propped up. His laughter on screen as Otis hid the frustration of an artist who knew he was capable of greatness, but was forever cast as the fool or the victim. Ned Beatty passed away on June 13, 2021 from natural causes at the age of 83, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $5 million. Ned played the fool to a criminal mastermind portrayed by a Hollywood titan whose recent death marked the end of an era. Gene Hackman, born on January 30, 1930, portrayed Lex Luthor in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 50, Hackman was the undisputed heavyweight of the cast, the villain, whose charisma rivaled Superman's strength. His financial dominance was absolute. For the original Superman shoots, he commanded a fee of $2 million, an astronomical sum in 1978, refusing to even shave his head for the role, forcing the makeup team to use bald caps. He was the highest-paid actor on the set, initially earning nearly 10 times what Christopher Reeve made. Yet Hackman's life was shadowed by a lonely, jagged darkness. Abandoned by his father as a child, he carried a lifelong rage and distrust of the world that fueled his intense performances but isolated him in reality. He famously walked away from Hollywood in 2004 after a health scare, vanishing into a reclusive retirement because the stress of the industry was literally killing him. He spent his final 2 decades in absolute silence, refusing interviews, painting, and writing, haunted by the fear of dying on a film set like so many of his peers. He was a man who conquered the screen, but found peace only by completely rejecting it. Gene Hackman passed away on February 18, 2025 from heart failure at the age of 95, leaving behind a massive estimated net worth of $80 million. Gene Hackman was the villain of Earth, but our next actor played a tyrant from the stars who forced the Man of Steel to his knees. Terrence Stamp, born on July 22, 1938, portrayed General Zod in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 42, Stamp delivered a performance of such icy aristocratic menace that "Kneel before Zod" became one of the most iconic lines in cinema history. However, his presence in the film was a comeback from a decade of self-imposed exile. After being the face of the swinging 60s, Stamp had retreated to an ashram in India, fleeing the pressures of fame. His salary for Superman reflected this hiatus. He earned approximately $80,000, a respectable sum, but a mere shadow of the millions commanded by Hackman and Brando, despite Zod being the film's central threat. He often spoke of the isolation he felt on set, acting against blue screens, a lonely king in a digital void. While he successfully reinvented himself as a character actor, the curse for Stamp was the burden of his own beauty and the typecasting that followed. He spent a lifetime trying to escape the shadow of Zod, yearning to be seen for his soul rather than his glare. In his final years, he faced the frailty of age with the same stoic dignity he lent to the general. But the invincible Kryptonian eventually succumbed to the mortality of Earth. Terrence Stamp passed away on August 17, 2025, from natural causes at the age of 87, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $10 million. Zod demanded the world kneel, but our next character was the woman who gave birth to the only man who could stand up to him. Susanna York, born on January 9, 1939, portrayed Lara in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. She appeared as Superman's biological mother at age 41, her scenes mostly filmed simultaneously with the first movie. York was a luminary of 1960s cinema, an Oscar nominee for They Shoot Horses. Don't They Yet? She openly despised her role in Superman, calling it silly, and doing it strictly for the paycheck. That paycheck was likely in the region of $50,000 and $1,000, a modest fee that she desperately needed as her star power waned in the shifting landscape of 1980s Hollywood. But behind her ethereal, glowing presence on Krypton lay a life of profound financial and physical suffering. In her later years, the roles dried up completely, forcing her to sell her beloved paintings and jewelry just to pay the bills, a humiliating fall for a woman who once graced the covers of every magazine. Her final act was a grueling private battle with advanced bone marrow cancer. She refused to let the public see her in pain, suffering through chemotherapy that ravaged her once famous beauty. She died not as a star, but as a woman fighting to maintain her dignity against a disease that consumed her from the inside out. Susanna York passed away on January 15, 2011 from multiple myeloma at the age of 72, leaving behind a modest net worth of roughly $501,000. Susanna played a mother, but our next actor played a nameless terrorist completely unaware that he would one day become the most famous uncle in movie history. Richard Griffiths, born on July 31, 1947, portrayed Terrorist 3 in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. Long before he terrified children as Uncle Vernon in Harry Potter, a 33-year-old Griffiths was just a face in the crowd, taking a non-speaking background role to make ends meet. His salary for this blink-and-you-miss-it appearance was likely the equity minimum of the time, perhaps a buyout of around $1,000, a stark, almost insulting contrast to the millions he would help generate for the wizarding world decades later. His early life was a Dickensian tragedy. Born to deaf and mute parents, he had to learn sign language to communicate with a world that often misunderstood him. He struggled with severe obesity his entire life, a condition that limited his roles and eventually strained his heart to the breaking point. While he achieved late-in-life treasure status, his body paid a terrible price. He underwent heart surgery in a desperate bid to extend his life, but complications arose on the operating table. The man who brought so much character to the screen died trying to fix the heart that had powered his incredible talent. Richard Griffiths passed away on March 28, 2013 from complications following heart surgery at the age of 65, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $5 million. Richard started with a tiny role, and so did our next actor, a man who would go on to be knighted, yet started his journey carrying luggage. Anthony Sher, born on June 14, 1949, portrayed Bellboy in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. It is almost impossible to believe that this 31-year-old playing a fumbling hotel employee would become one of the most revered Shakespearean actors of the 20th century. In 1980, Sher was a working actor, taking whatever gig came his way. His pay for this minor comedic bit was likely a standard day rate of approximately $150. He was literally carrying bags for the stars, a humble beginning for a man who would later be knighted by the Queen for his services to theater. However, Sir Anthony's life was cut short by a tragedy that no accolade could prevent. In 2021, he was diagnosed with a terminal illness that progressed with terrifying speed. The man known for his intense physical transformations and boundless energy on stage was suddenly forced to confront his own rapid decline. He died just months after his diagnosis, a shock to the arts world that stripped away a titan of the stage far too soon. His brief moment in Superman remains a haunting reminder that even the greatest legends start as background extras, and even the strongest voices are eventually silenced by disease. Sir Anthony Sher passed away on December 2, 2021 from cancer at the age of 72, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $3 million. Anthony played a servant, but our next actor was a war hero forced to play a buffoon hiding his scars behind a badge. Clifton James, born on May 29th of 1920, portrayed the sheriff in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 60, James was brought in to reprise the bumbling Southern lawman archetype he had made famous in the James Bond films. While he provided the audience with comic relief, his paycheck was that of a typecast character actor, likely earning a flat fee of around $15,000 for his scenes. The cruel irony of his career was that the man famous for playing foolish, slow-witted sheriffs was in reality a highly decorated World War II veteran. He served in the South Pacific, earning 2 Purple Hearts and a Silver Star, witnessing horrors in battle that most people could not imagine. He lost close friends in combat and carried the trauma of war silently, only to return to Hollywood and be forced to play a caricature of incompetence to feed his family. He spent his career hiding his dignity and heroism behind a mask of stupidity, trapped by an industry that refused to see him as anything else. He eventually succumbed to the slow, inevitable decline of the body he had once risked for his country. Clifton James passed away on April 15, 2017, from complications of diabetes at the age of 96, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $2 million. Clifton enforced the law in a small town, but our next actor held the highest office in the land, bearing the weight of a world under siege. E.G. Marshall, born on June 18, 1914, portrayed the president in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 66, he brought the same gravitating authority to the Oval Office that he had famously lent to 12 Angry Men. Marshall was the quintessential face of the law in Hollywood, but his compensation for playing the leader of the free world was surprisingly modest. While the film's budget soared to $54 million, Marshall's fee for his brief appearance was likely a standard high-end guest rate of approximately $25,000 to $30,000. He was a workmanlike actor who viewed the role as just another job, unaware that he would become the pop culture image of a president kneeling before an alien tyrant. His life was defined by a staunch, almost rigid privacy. He refused to let the public see the man behind the gavel. However, his final years were marked by a quiet, suffocating battle with lung cancer. The voice that had commanded courtrooms and countries was slowly silenced by the disease, yet he continued to work until the very end, driven by a compulsion to remain useful. He died as he lived, dignified and private, but the tragedy lay in the loneliness of being the authority figure that no one truly knew intimately. E.G. Marshall passed away on August 24, 1998 from lung cancer at the age of 84, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $5 million. The president surrendered to Zod, but our next guest was a European legend who surrendered to nothing but his own art. Jean-Pierre Cassel, born on October 27, 1932, portrayed the French officer in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. Appearing at age 48, Cassel was a massive star in Europe, known as the French Fred Astaire. Yet in the American blockbuster machine, he was reduced to a nameless cameo. His involvement highlights the brutal hierarchy of Hollywood. A man who was cinema royalty in Paris was paid a mere day player rate in London, estimated at roughly $5,000 for his brief scenes at the White House. He accepted the role for the fun of it, but it stood in stark contrast to the artistic depth of his European career. The father of modern superstar Vincent Cassel, Jean-Pierre's life was a vibrant dance of charm and talent, but his final act was a grueling fight against cancer. He concealed his illness for as long as possible, refusing to let the industry see his decline. The tragedy of Jean-Pierre Cassel was the theft of his vitality. The man who built his legacy on movement and energy was pinned down by a disease that stripped him of both. He worked until weeks before his death, desperate to dance one last time before the music stopped. Jean-Pierre Cassel passed away on April 19, 2007 from cancer at the age of 74, leaving behind a profound legacy and an estimated family estate of $10 million. Jean-Pierre brought French flair, but our next actor was the ultimate sci-fi chameleon, known by his voice to millions but his face to few. Shane Rimmer, born on May 28, 1929, portrayed Controller Number 2 in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 51, Rimmer was the face you know but can't name, having already operated the control rooms of Dr. Strangelove's Star Wars and The Spy Who Loved Me. However, he was most famous as the voice of Scott Tracy in Thunderbirds. Despite being the voice of a generation's childhood, his financial rewards were shockingly low. For Superman 2, he likely earned a standard equity daily buyout of around $400, a pittance, for an actor who provided the grounded reality to the world's biggest franchises. He famously received no long-term residuals for his Thunderbirds work watching, as the show became a global merchandising empire, while he continued to hustle for bit parts to pay the mortgage. His tragedy was one of anonymity. He was the reliable American in London who propped up billion-dollar movies but remained a working-class actor his entire life. He died without the fortune his voice helped generate, a humble craftsman in a world of greedy stars. Shane Rimmer passed away on March 29, 2019 from natural causes at the age of 89, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $1 million. Shane controlled the skies, but our next actor was a reporter who famously found his lack of faith disturbing in a galaxy far, far away. Richard Leparmentier, born on July 16, 1946, portrayed a reporter in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 34, he was a familiar face to sci-fi fans, immortalized 3 years earlier, as Admiral Motti, the man Darth Vader choked in Star Wars. In Superman, he played a humbler role, yet his paycheck remained stuck in the low-budget tier of expatriate actors in the UK. His fee for this appearance was likely a standard weekly rate of roughly $600. Leparmentier spent his career chasing the high of that one Star Wars scene, embracing the convention circuit to supplement an acting income that was never secure. His life ended with a shocking, sudden tragedy that devastated his family. While visiting his children in Austin, Texas, he died unexpectedly in his sleep, turning a joyful family reunion into a nightmare. There was no long illness, no goodbye, just a sudden silence. He was a man who loved the storytelling world, only to have his own story cut short without a final chapter. Richard Leparmentier passed away on April 15, 2013 from a heart attack at the age of 66, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $500 million. Richard was a Star Wars alumni, and so was our next actor, a rebel pilot whose recent death has left the fan community in mourning. Angus MacInnes, born on October 27, 1947, portrayed the prison warden in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. He took on this role at age 33, just a few years after etching his name in history as Gold Leader in Star Wars: A New Hope. Like his peers, MacInnes was part of the London Yank fraternity actors who filled the American roles in UK film blockbusters. His pay for Superman 2 was minimal, likely a daily fee of around $500 despite his cult status. For decades, he worked in the background of massive films like Judge Dredd and Hellboy, often unrecognized and underpaid compared to the heroes he supported. The tragedy of Angus MacInnes is fresh and raw. He passed away very recently, just before Christmas in 2024. His death marked the end of an era for the original Rebel Alliance pilots. He spent his final years reconnecting with fans who finally appreciated his contribution, only to be taken just as he was enjoying that late-life adulation. He was a soldier of cinema who marched on until the very end, leaving a void in the hearts of sci-fi lovers everywhere. Angus MacInnes passed away on December 23, 2024 from natural causes at the age of 77, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $2 million. Angus guarded a prison on Earth, but our next actor was an elder of Krypton who possessed a face so unique it didn't need words to haunt you. John Hollis, born on November 12, 1927, portrayed the Krypton Elder in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 53, Hollis brought his unforgettable bald-headed intensity to the Council of Krypton. He was the ultimate visual actor, famous for playing Lobot in The Empire Strikes Back and the villain Blofeld in For Your Eyes Only Uncredited. Despite appearing in the holy trinity of nerd culture, Superman, Star Wars, Bond, all within a 2-year span, Hollis was a journeyman character actor who earned a workman's wage. His fee for Superman Senku was was likely a modest session fee of roughly $750. He was a master of silence, often cast in roles that required him to stare rather than speak, which meant he was paid significantly less than actors with lines. His tragedy was one of quiet solitude. He faded from the industry in the late 90s, living a life of almost total obscurity. He died as he lived quietly and without fanfare, leaving the world to wonder about the man behind the blank, terrifying stare. He was the face everyone feared, but a soul nobody truly knew. John Hollis passed away on October 18, 2005, from natural causes at the age of 77, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $1.5 million. John was a silent observer, but our next actor was a military general who spent his life shouting orders only to be silenced by the cruelest of diseases. Don Fellows, born on December 2, 1922, portrayed the general in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 57, Fellows was the industry's go-to American in London, a man whose face became synonymous with U.S. military authority in British film blockbusters like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yet despite appearing in some of the highest-grossing films of the 20th century, Fellows remained a working-class actor operating on a modest scale. His fee for commanding the troops in Superman 2 was likely a standard supporting artist weekly rate of approximately $600 to $800. He was the definition of the blue-collar actor wearing the uniform of power while earning the wages of a tradesman. He watched from the sidelines as the franchises he helped ground in reality generated billions for studio executives, while he relied on steady small roles to pay his mortgage in the UK. His tragedy was one of professional invisibility. He was always the general, never the star, forever trapped in the background of other people's glory. He dedicated his life to the craft, appearing in stage productions well into his 70s, refusing to retire, even as his health waned. He was the sturdy pillar that Hollywood leaned on, but rarely thanked. Don Fellows passed away on October 21, 2007 from natural causes at the age of 84, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $1 million. Don played a man of war, but our next actor carries a name that would later become synonymous with Superman's greatest enemy in a twist of cosmic irony. Michael Shannon, born on January 24, 1943, portrayed the president's aide in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. Appearing at age 37, this Michael Shannon, not to be confused with the actor who played Zod in 2013, was a dedicated character actor whose career became a strange footnote in cinema history. He stood in the Oval Office as Zod invaded, earning a meager day player fee of roughly $400, unaware that decades later, another man with his exact name would make millions ruling the same fictional universe. The tragedy of Michael J. Shannon is the struggle for identity in an industry that effaces the individual. He worked tirelessly in films like The Shining and Little Shop of Horrors, yet he is often remembered merely as a trivia answer or mistaken for his younger, more famous namesake. He lived the life of a journeyman, fighting for every role, never achieving the household recognition that his talent warranted. His career was a marathon of small victories and quiet disappointments, playing the suit in the background while others wore the capes. He passed away quietly, leaving behind a body of work that proved there are no small parts, only forgotten actors. Michael Shannon passed away on November 23, 2023 from natural causes at the age of 80, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $500. Michael stood in the corridors of power, but our next guest was a gladiator of the ring who brought real violence to the fantasy world. Pepper Martin, born on September 20, 1936, portrayed Rocky in the movie Superman 2 in 1980. At age 44, Martin brought a lifetime of physical brutality to the screen. A former professional wrestler, he was cast as the trucker who beats up a powerless Clark Kent in the diner, a scene that became legendary. However, the transition from the wrestling ring to the silver screen was financially punishing. While he was the man who beat Superman, his pay for the role was likely a stunt actor negotiated fee of around $5,000 to $7,000. He had spent years destroying his body in the ring for meager payouts, only to find that Hollywood treated its muscle with similar disregard. He was a man built of granite, but his later years were a testament to the fragility of the human form. Years of taking bumps in the ring and performing stunts took a horrific toll on his joints and spine, leaving him in chronic pain that the cameras never showed. His toughest battle, however, was not with Superman, but with cancer. The indestructible bully of the diner withered away fighting a microscopic enemy he could not punch. Pepper Martin passed away on March 18, 2022 from lung cancer at the age of 85, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $2 million. The credits may roll, but for the cast of Superman, the darkness didn't end when the director yelled "cut." It lingers, a chilling reminder that fame often comes with a terrible price. Now I turn the question to you. Was this truly a sinister curse that hunted them down one by one, or just a series of cruel coincidences? Whisper your theories in the comments below. I read everything. If you have the courage to uncover more of Hollywood's buried secrets and blood-stained legacies, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell into the darkness. Until next time, remember, the truth is often scarier than fiction. Goodbye.